What's up guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna show you my higher time frame Bitcoin scenario. I would say let's not waste any time and let's hop into the charts. Let's go. So guys, this is the weekly chart on the Bitcoin higher time frame. I always analyze my charts on the weekly time frame to see potential long-term investment opportunities, guys. The weekly chart is one of the cleanest time frames ever. Of course, it takes patience for it to play out, but price action is very clean. And as you can see currently, we have retraced from roughly 100k to the 200 EMA on the weekly. This is always an interesting zone for me to buy on solid assets like Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin, some certain stocks that are blue chip companies. The 200 EMA is always a good point to buy. And as you can see, we touched the 200 EMA and had a nice little bounce of 20% of it. So I bought my first batch back then right here, but we can also expect another scenario that we will dump lower. If we compare it to the past bear market, as you can see, we touched the 200 EMA as well. We had a nice little bounce of it of same around 20%, a little more even. And what happened after that, guys? We retraced back into it and we retraced below it for quite some time for some accumulation, because the big players are filling up their Bitcoin bags right here. And then you know what happened next. We started the next bull market and ran to 120k, and that is the same that I maybe expect here. It's not for sure, guys. We can also take off from here. That's why I always buy monthly Bitcoin. I don't care about the price. I know long term it will be higher than today, and that's the most important thing. I buy monthly, sometimes even weekly if price like right here retraced, but I would also still buy a lot more if we would get my scenario, which I drawn out here. We retraced into this weekly fair value gap right here below the weekly 100 EMA, also a very hard resistance zone. As you can see, rejected of it now and already dumped a nice little 10-15%. And what I would now expect is that we maybe chop around and then have this dump below the 200 EMA like back then in 2022, where we then accumulate a little bit even for quite some time, and then we load up for the next cycle to the upside where we might reach prices of 200k. That would be like around my first target for my long-term buys, 200k, 250k for one Bitcoin. That would be somewhat realistic. I'm not a complete moon boy that says we will reach 1 million in the next 5 years. I'm realistic, and I can realistically say, okay, Bitcoin has the potential to go to 200k, 250k in the next 5 years, in the next 6, 7, 8 years, whatever. In the end, it's a solid return. If you buy at 60k, it's almost a 5x, it's around a 4x. So insane returns if you compare it with the average market, and the RR is really there, guys. So that's why I am loading up weekly here, weekly, monthly sometimes. If we reach this point right here in this area, I will accumulate even heavier and I will try to buy as much as possible, and then just hold it for the long run, guys. I might not buy the exact bottom here. That's the most important stuff. You might also dump 10, 20, 30% lower, but you don't need to be faced by that, because in the end you believe in it. In the end you know that it will be higher at some point, and that's what I do. Of course, this is not financial advice, but that's just how I treat my long-term investments. It's the same as I treat my average world ETF investments, and exactly the same applies for Bitcoin. If we get to a solid price, I buy the solid price. I buy for cheap, I buy for a discount. I don't care if it dips lower after that. I just hold it and buy and accumulate and dollar cost average into it, guys. You need to stop worrying about the perfect entry, the perfect exit. It's not really that important on the higher time frame. What is important to be consistent with it, to buy at solid prices that are solid for you, that are in alignment with your time horizon. And that's the most important stuff, guys. And that's why I am accumulating weekly, monthly, and I am even buying market batches if we would get this scenario right here where we dip below 60k, and then I would accumulate as much as possible and then ride it to 200, 250k. And that's my whole Bitcoin analysis, guys. It's based on past price action, of course, and definitely realistic in my opinion. Maybe you have another opinion than me, then let me know in the comments. But if you enjoy those little analysis videos, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, guys, to not miss out on any videos. And then I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Have a nice day.